Hey friends! Today's video is going to be a chit-chat get ready with me, and I realized I just did a get ready with me in my last video, but I have a lot of things to catch up on, and this video is going to be considerably happier than the last one. So yeah. Before I do actually dive into the video, I do want to preempt this with I will be talking about politics, I will be talking about the United States election, so if you don't want to hear it, click away and I'll see you in the next one. So, now that that's out of the way, hi, hello, my glasses are covered in schmutz. I'm getting new ones this week, or at least a new prescription this week. I'm very excited. Hi everybody. It's been a week. It's been a while. It's just been, a time. Sleep has been few and far between. I've been looking at screens too much. I can't imagine how high my fucking screen time on my phone is this week. I'm not gonna check. I just know it's higher than usual. But it's a good week. It's a good week. All in all, the week is good. Let me pour one out for everyone that voted. Also, we are going to be playing with this palette, the Sashimi City palette from Kaleidos Makeup. It's so pretty. I'm so excited to try it. And then I also bought Diamond Dasher, their highlight. Very pretty. I'm very excited. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of sit down, talk about the election, talk about the week, and talk about a little bit of like the history of politics on my channel as well as the future of politics on my channel, because there's quite a storied history, to say the least. So let's just get started with foundation, because I don't have to pay attention to what I'm doing when I'm putting foundation on. So, in case you hadn't heard, the United States had our presidential election last week. It took place on Tuesday, and it went through till Saturday, and it's probably going to be going through till January. And Joe Biden, the Democratic nominee, and Kamala Harris, the vice president nominee, they won. We won. Trump lost. It has been a weird week because it's the first time in a very long time that I've felt like genuine hope. Not necessarily victory, because like Biden wasn't my guy and he wasn't my second guy or my third guy. Like, he was the guy that I was okay with, but he wasn't my choice. It's really nice to know that the majority of Americans said no to fascism, said no to Trump. And that's what's been getting me through the week. That's what's been giving me serotonin, just like a healthy dose of schadenfreude, knowing that the president is miserable, like absolutely miserable. And that's what we wanted. Like, we wanted him to lose and we wanted him to feel bad about it. This whole week got me thinking a lot about, well, politics in general, but also the state of political content on YouTube in relation to my own channel, beauty community at large, people using their platforms for things besides just like beauty content. And a handful of people who I subscribe to has made videos about the election. Smoky Glow, my good buddy Hannah, made one. Colin Berry uploaded a video about the election on Tuesday. T from Nappy Headed Jojoba also uploaded a video. I will leave a link to all their videos in the description down below, because it kind of shared a lot of the same sentiments that I did. That this week, while was a little win of sorts, the work is far from over. It's the start of something. We've gotten out of the weeds, so to speak, and now we can actually get some more work done. We got the long game in play. We want to abolish the Electoral College. We want to do so many things. We have to fight against systemic racism. We have to protect reproductive rights. We have to do all of these things, have like a comprehensive climate change plan, and there's so many things that we still have to do and that we still have to accomplish with this current administration coming up, because they're not perfect. I've shared much of my thoughts on Twitter, on Instagram this week, but I'll kind of, I don't know, reiterate what I posted on Instagram. My mom sent me a photo of the flag, her flag, that she has put up on her house for the first time in 4 years. And my parents inherited and purchased a home from my grandparents after they died. And it's in a deeply red county in Washington state. It's in a deeply red county. Like, literally their neighbors across the street have had a MAGA sign out in front of their yard. She's felt very isolated for the last 4 years, like incredibly isolated, being a liberal person living in a deeply red county. I can only imagine how bad it is for people who lean more left, who live in deeply red states. Like my buddies, my folks in Texas and in the Southeast, I feel for you all the time, because it's like, I cannot imagine living in a place that doesn't share my ideals at large. I'm very lucky to live in Washington State because of that. Like, that is not lost on me. Thankfully, Georgia flipped blue. Georgia and Arizona and Pennsylvania. Oh my God. We'll get to that. But let me put on my concealer. My mom put up her flag for the first time in 4 years, and she was like, I have an audience. The people across the street know this is happening, know that I'm putting this up, and I'm happy about it because we finally get a chance to breathe a little bit easier. We can take a rest and we can take a break and really put in the work to do the long game stuff. I was trying to come up with metaphors for this stuff on Instagram, and I was like, well, it's like we're swimming to the surface and now we don't have as many weights pulling us back, or like we're still running a mile but there aren't as many hurdles. It's like we still have a mile to go in terms of just like so many social justice things and so many things kind of dismantling all of these like systems that have screwed over so many Americans for so long. Like there's still so much work to do, like so much work to do. It was nice to feel a little bit of reprieve this week. You know, like we won, we did. And seeing places all around the country celebrating, seeing places all around the world celebrating, like seeing other people on the internet who don't live here. Like I saw so many people who I'm friends with online or people who I follow who do not live in the United States, like waiting on bated breath about this, because realistically, what the United States does affects the entire world when it comes to foreign policy. So it's like everybody wanted to pay attention. Thankfully, I saw many people, whether they were from the United States or not, kind of rooting for us, rooting for us to win, rooting for Trump to lose. So it was really nice. On Saturday, actually, funny story. Saturday, backtrack. The election happened on Tuesday. And it kept happening for days because Tuesday we weren't done counting because a lot of states wanted to not count anything until election day. And we had record numbers on both sides, record voter turnout, the most votes ever cast ever, because there was widespread mail-in ballots. There was widespread people mailing in their ballots because that was the safest way to do it for many people. And Tuesday night, because most of the votes that were coming in early were all the people who went in to vote, people who stood in line and voted the day of, because the president was like completely trying to delegitimize mail-in voting and trying to demonize the USPS, which is bonkers. So you had most of the votes coming in early being for Trump, and it was scary. Like, it was scary. I wasn't really paying attention Tuesday night because I paid attention too much in 2016 and I had a fucking meltdown for 2 days afterwards. So I was like, I'm not going to watch the news. I'm not going to watch the numbers because I saw what it did to me in 2016 and I wasn't going to do that again. I need to set my under eye. Do you see my giant thing of powder on the bookshelf? Thank you. I appreciate you. So Tuesday, I wasn't really paying attention to anything because I'm like, I'm gonna just work myself up into a tizzy. I'm gonna get high and play some Sims and stream on Twitch. And that's what I did until 11 o'clock at night on Tuesday. I peeked in a couple times here and there just to see what was going on. And I saw Arizona flipping and I'm like, what the fuck? Arizona's flipping? Are you kidding me? But it was still early on. It was less of a like, oh my God, yes, finally. It was more of a, well, we're building to it. Is it finally, it was climactic, but it was also kind of anticlimactic because it took 4 days for us to like say finally, yes, that we won. It was very weird. It was a very weird thing because last time we found out Tuesday night and it was a horrible time. Like in 2016, we found out early and it was bad. This time, it took us longer, but it ended up being great because Saturday morning, I woke up. I slept in Saturday morning, I'll tell you that. I slept in till like 11 o'clock. My sister called me and texted me at 9:30 and she's like, get up, bitch, I want to tell you the good news. She was at work already. And I woke up and I watched the news. It was this unfamiliar feeling of being like, wait, did we win? It was a weird feeling because we're so used to not winning at this point when it comes to Trump. Like, we're so used to just like all of the worst stuff happening. So it was kind of like a punch to the gut of like, oh, okay. Yeah, we did that. Okay, let me get my brush here. So that aside, that said, it was very interesting to see how close it was, actually. Like, how actually close it was. It was not the blue wave that everybody wanted and everybody was expecting. And it was similar to 2016 in that, like, 2016, nobody expected anybody to take Trump seriously because he was still a joke to everybody at that point. And nobody actually, like, paid attention to him, which is what got us there in the first place. So people expected it to be fine in 2016. It wasn't fine. People expected it to be like a blue wave this year, and it wasn't a blue wave. It was still very close, which is why we had to count fucking ballots for 4 days. So while we won, there was a record voter turnout with young people, with black people, with Latinos, with indigenous folks. Make no mistake, it was black people, indigenous people, Latino voters, and young people that got us here, that got us to a victory. And that needs to be something that we remind people of consistently as we go forward with this administration, because those are the people that won for us. Those are the people who turned out in Georgia. Those are the people that turned out in Philadelphia. Those are the people that turned out in Nevada and Arizona. Those are the people that won the election for us. So what we need to do for the next 4 years is actually, like, do the work for them, for their communities, and actually, like, I don't know, pay it forward. Looking at the numbers, white women, unfortunately, voted for Trump more this time. Like, the percentage of white women who voted for Trump was higher this time. And I'm not surprised, but I'm grossed out. I'm not surprised at all because, like, we're in America. Like, this is America, you know, unfortunately. Okay, now I'm gonna finally put on eyeshadow. How long have I been talking for? 19 minutes? Wow, Abigail, you're really good at YouTube. So yeah, we need to put the work in for the next 4 years to actually, like, help those communities and listen to them, because we wouldn't have won. One thing that has been interesting and slightly terrifying the last few days is how little the president, well, he doesn't seem unfazed. He seems very fazed. He's basically like we won. You didn't win. We won. It's madness. The fucking mental gymnastics the Republican Party is doing to somehow back up their claims that there was fraud from the Democratic Party, fraud with the voting systems, because literally, the New York Times just released today, they got reports from every single state that there was no fraud, that the system worked. And the things that have come out of the president's mouth the last few days, the thing that has come out of Secretary of State Pompeo's mouth, Lindsey Graham, all these people, it's very obvious that voter suppression is the reason that Republicans have won the last 20 years. The only time Republicans have won the Electoral College is because they've suppressed the vote and they lost the popular vote. The only time a Republican actually won the popular vote in the last 20 years was George W. Bush's second term when he was an incumbent and he was running against, like, the piece of untoasted bread John Kerry. So they didn't have much of a chance, to be honest. So that's the only time that a Republican has ever won the popular vote. Every other time a Republican has won the Electoral College, they lost the popular vote. There's a reason why the Republican Party wants to keep the Electoral College as it is, because without it, without mail-in voting, they can keep winning. But what we've proved this year is that with mail-in voting and with actual, like, representative voting and without being suppressed, it actually can be more representative. It can be a more representative democracy. The fact that the Republican Party has had to rely on voter suppression all these years to actually win anything says a lot. You know, mad props, big ups to Stacey Abrams. Oh my God, that woman deserves a place in the cabinet. She deserves, oh my God, she deserves everything good in the world. Holy crap. Stacey Abrams is a badass in, like, the truest sense of the term. She lost the governor race 2 years ago because of voter suppression, because Brian Kemp suppressed the vote and totally fucked up the system for her. And then she didn't take it as, like, oh, well, I'm done. No, she spent the next 2 years registering almost 1 million new voters in Georgia. This is a really nice eyeshadow palette. I like these colors. The shimmers in here, I'm just super excited about. Ooh. Ooh. It has been interesting seeing celebrities, though, calling for Democrats to reach out to their Trump supporter friends or their Trump supporter family members and tell them that we still love them. Why? No. Like, They made their bed and they need to lie in it. We are not the same. Like, us losing in 2016 and people being afraid in 2016 is not the same as the kind of response that people are having now. It's not the same as the kind of response Republicans are having now, saying that the election was stolen, that it was fraud. Like, what are they scared of? That's what I always wonder. Like, what are you actually afraid of? Like, in 2016, when the Democrats lost, we were right to be afraid because it was worse than people thought it was going to be. Like, it was worse than I thought it was going to be. What we ended up with 4 years later was not exactly what I expected. It was worse. So I just wonder what Republicans are afraid of when they are shouting about to stop the vote or to keep counting the votes in certain states. Like, just the sheer ridiculousness of last week was truly bizarre. Besides different states calling for stopping the votes and then other states saying to keep counting the votes, and then the Four Seasons total landscaping debacle, which is literally going to be the funniest thing ever. That's the only time that the president has actually helped a small business in the 4 years that he's been president. Oh, so funny. Speaking of funny things, I did want to talk a little bit about Washington State's election because we had a gubernatorial race, the governor race. And obviously I voted for Jay Inslee because he's been our governor for 2 terms and he's been doing a good job with COVID and he cares about the environment. He maybe is not always the best at like solving problems, but he's good at identifying problems. He was running against this guy, Lauren Culp, who was pretty much just like parroting anything the president said, kind of following those same steps, like being very like racist and like take back your suburbs. And the problem was this guy's only experience was being the police chief of a small town in eastern Washington called Republic of all places. Oh, this is a pretty color. I like this. He gained a lot of support from the like anti-Inslee parts of Washington, the very like rural areas of Washington that are farther outside the city and tend to lean more conservative and Republican. Because a lot of people just don't like Jay Inslee. Like, a lot of people just don't like him for some reason or another. Let me find a little brush. I'm putting a different color on the inner corner. Do I want to use my finger? I kind of want to use my finger. So Lauren Culp lost, and I was very glad, and it was like, that was a given. Like, there was no chance that he was going to win. But this man lost, and he went on a live stream on Facebook. This is literally the funniest. Before Four Seasons Total Landscaping, this was keeping me fed for like hours at a time. And I'm like, that sweet, sweet Schadenfreude. He had been one of those people who were kind of demonizing the protesters, calling for defunding of police departments. And it turned out that 2 days before the election, Lauren had been on a leave of absence from his post as police chief of Republic. The city council in Republic voted 2 days before the election to defund their police department, which included a staff of 1, which was just Lauren Culp. What? Oh my, I was laughing. And he like said in his live stream, and he was like, well, they voted to defund the police department, so I've been let go. And not even a thank you. That man expected a thank you from his city council. Like, what? Oh my God. It was so, oh baby, it was so fun. Oh my God. So not only did he lose the governor race, but he lost his job all in 1 week. And it was great. Probably the biggest thing in the state of Washington that I was very emotional about, surprisingly, when I saw that it won, I was just elated. I was so happy. Don't get me wrong, there were so many great measures that were passed across the country. Like Florida got a $15 minimum wage. All the states with marijuana things on the ballot decriminalized it. Oregon decriminalized all drugs, which is awesome. My little home of Washington State was the first state in the country to have a statewide sex education mandate on the ballot. And it won, and it passed. I will leave a link to like the full like referendum text below because it's very in-depth, but long and short of it, it's a K through 12 comprehensive sex education program that starts with just like emotional well-being and social cues and like basic consent of like you can say no and like touching and personal space, all that stuff. So stuff that's very important for very young people to learn at an early age to make it easier for them to comprehend everything else as they get older. It was just so awesome to see that Washington voted to Teach kids about this stuff at an earlier age in school. Because I just kept thinking of all of the kids, like all of the young LGBTQ kids that maybe don't feel safe at home, not having a space to be able to talk about it, feeling different at school, and having like a more comprehensive sex ed program that talks about gender identity and sexual orientation. This is the kind of ridiculousness that the right was spewing about referendum 90 in this state. People were believing that elementary school students were going to be taught sexual positions. That's the kind of bullshit that was being spread about this bill, because that was literally not what it was. But it made me think of just like all of the kids that feel different and don't know why they feel different, and they're too afraid to talk about it at home, and they're going to get that education, that extra level of understanding at school. And for the little kids that are being used at home but don't know that there's something wrong with that, being able to speak up and to defend themselves more at an early age because they know what's happening is bad, that will literally save lives. Like, not only will it protect kids from being taken advantage of because they don't know any better, it'll also protect kids from falling into bad habits when they're young. The best part about it is that if the parents want to opt out, they have to review the entire curriculum. So it's not an easy thing for them just to sign a piece of paper and send it to school, like, which is awesome, because then the parents have to do it, and then they'll finally realize, oh, maybe this isn't bad. Maybe I will let my kids learn this. And it's awesome. I was so happy. And then knowing that compounded with the fact that we're not going to have to deal with Betsy DeVos's incompetence. Oh my God. Like I messaged my teacher friends and I was like, oh my God, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. All right, highlight. Oh, okay. Wow. I also bought this brush from Kaleidos and I quite like it. Wow, this highlighter is nice. Put on my mascara. I also redid my hair the other day in case you hadn't noticed. I think I'm just gonna do like this lip gloss from ColourPop. It's just a peachy lip gloss. Kind of match everything, very peachy. Ooh, fun. So excited to get new glasses. Oh my God. Go to the eye doctor in 2 days for me filming this. Holy crap, I'm so excited. So, that is the look. That is the look that I wanted to do today. This is very like kind of basic shimmery eye. I love this duochrome in here. These are super pretty shades. Like them a lot. What I want to leave you on, it's incredibly important to still pay attention and to still stay informed and to stay engaged, because while we have this little win and this small victory, there's still, like I said, a long way to go. And people need to not just like take this as like, okay, well now we got Biden and now I'm done. Like, cause we're not done. Like literally in 2 months, there's a runoff in Georgia for their 2 Senate seats because those seats did not get enough votes the day of the election. They are rallying support and finances and people to phone bank. So if you still want to stay involved and stay informed, please check out the links that I have in the description down below about these Senate races in Georgia, because if we can flip the Senate in Georgia the way we flipped the presidential election in Georgia, we can have a even 50-50 in the Senate, and then the deciding vote will be a tiebreaker coming from Kamala Harris. So there's still work to be done, because we still have to take the Senate, or at least have a tie in the Senate, because a Republican Senate doesn't get anything done when Mitch McConnell is in charge. But also besides that, we've seen the behavior from the president and from his cabinet and from his people the last few days. We've seen how little they're actually paying attention to facts and how little they're actually taking it seriously and believing the truth, which is that they lost. And the president's not going to quit. Like Mike Pompeo literally said today, as I am filming this, he said that there will be a peaceful transition to a second Trump administration, which is terrifying. Like, that is absolutely terrifying to have an entire administration believing untruths and just going with their reality, and in turn gaslighting their own base. And they're not going away. They're not going away. They're only going to maybe get stronger because Trump is a fucking martyr. And please, right now, especially before the inauguration, before January, please be so skeptical of any piece of information you're getting from the internet. Please double check, triple check, quadruple check, check with NPR, PBS, Associated Press. Those tend to be the most reliable sources when it comes to unbiased and just straight facts. Up until the election, the Republican Party has been spreading untruths consistently. Like, I can't tell you the number of people I have seen commenting stuff about George Soros. Like, I got one in my own fucking comments. So there are tons of just blatant lies and conspiracy theories that have been spread as fact. So please be incredibly skeptical of where you're getting your information from and what you're seeing online and what you believe and what you're believing to be fact, because they're not going to quit. They're not going to stop. We knew this was going to happen. We knew there wasn't going to be a peaceful transition of power. But pretty much, I think I saw Trevor Noah talking about this, but the reason why the GOP is going so hard on these conspiracy theories that it was all a fraud and that that there were illegal ballots, there were illegal votes cast, is so that they can keep their base riled up until the Georgia runoff. So what we need to do is just like destroy them with facts and embolden our own base to go out and vote in Georgia and follow Stacey Abrams' suit, because seriously, that woman deserves literally everything good in the world. Just be careful about where you're getting your information, and it sucks that unfortunately the truth is often behind a paywall. You have the New York Times, you have the Washington Post, often behind a paywall, but the conspiracy theories and the BS that the right has been spreading is free. Breitbart is free. The New York Times is behind a paywall. And back in 2016, I made a video right before Trump took office, and I got really emotional about Obama because Obama's first term was the first time I got to vote back in 2008. I made a video that I got incredibly emotional in, and that video got picked up by a channel that ended up just essentially harassing me, and their base harassed me for a year. I ended up privating the video, and for a long time after that, I'm just like, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to make videos about politics anymore because I was tired for a good year. Before that, I'd been talking about politics a lot on my channel. Like, I think 8 years ago, I made a video about Rick Santorum on my old channel. It's very weird. The older that I've gotten and the longer that these last 4 years have gone by and the less of a fuck I've given, the more I've talked about it. And I feel like the majority of you guys understand where I'm coming from all the time when I talk about this stuff, and you understand where I fall, where my beliefs fall. And I appreciate greatly that so many people understand that, and you guys respect that in the comment section, and many of the people I know probably follow me because of that, and they agree with me, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But let it be known here, you can disagree with me all you want. If you want to respectfully disagree with me in the comments, that's fine. But if anybody tries coming at me in my comments with untruths and conspiracy theories that the Trump administration has spread that is hurtful and hateful towards marginalized people, you will be not in my comments anymore. If you want to respectfully disagree, or if you want to talk about taxes, if you want to talk about that, I'll still side-eye you. Because the people who like to use taxes as their one issue, it's incredibly privileged and incredibly short-sighted and incredibly close-minded to pick one issue like taxes when there's so many other issues like literally human rights at stake. I think T said it best, where you may not identify as a racist, you may not identify as a white supremacist, but those things were not deal breakers. They weren't. So if you are feeling excited about this, if you're celebrating, please celebrate. Please feel happy and feel excited that we got a little win and that there's just a bit of calm for a while, and keep the people close to you who care about you and who want the best for you, because the people who voted for Trump don't want the best for everybody in this country. That's that on that. So, like I said earlier, I will leave links to Colin's video, Hannah's video, and T's video down in the description, so you can go watch theirs as well as mine. Today's song of the day is Black Sheep from Metric, because I love it, and I really want to watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World now. But yeah, I was just listening to that in my car on my way home, and I was like, This is such a banger. Like, has this been my song of the day before? Probably, like, because I like the song too much. Thanks so much to my patrons. I appreciate y'all very much, so much, seriously. If you're new to my channel, hi, hello. If this is your first time seeing me, I hope you stick around. Not all my videos are this long and convoluted and blah. I just had to word vomit about everything that happened last week because a lot happened last week and I had a lot to talk about that I couldn't talk about, like makeup things, before talking about this. If you want to stick around, subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. That would be super cool. Seriously, subscribe. That'd be awesome. I hope you all are having a good week. Please stay safe. Please stay home, social distance, wear your mask, wash your hands, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.